Story 1. Am I the a-hole for signing up my girlfriend for a social etiquette class before meeting my family? Girlfriend and I have been together for a little under 3 months, and we agreed it's time for her to meet my family. For some context, I'm blessed and had a fortunate upbringing. My girlfriend, on the other hand, faced some challenges in her life from a young age, particularly financial challenges. She's a beautiful, interesting person despite all of the hardships she's faced. The only problem is that she lacks the manners that my family typically expects from someone I'm in a relationship with. My girlfriend is the first, less fortunate woman I'm dating. For that reason, I made the effort to prepare her for her first dinner with my family. I got her signed up for an online social etiquette course and thought this was a good idea. However, when I told her, she was furious. She claimed that I was obviously embarrassed to be with her and that I should just marry a rich girl instead. She even accused me of being just another white privileged guy. To make matters worse, she said that it's racially insensitive of me to feel the need to teach her how to behave. So, am I the complete a-hole here? Explanations are more than welcome. I mean, clearly one of you does need to take some lessons on social etiquette, but it's not her. I think that you're probably the a-hole in this situation. Here's my point. Even if it would be a good idea for her to learn some etiquette because your parents are weirdly snobby or something, which no, I don't really think so, but you ask her first. You ask her like, hey, are you going to be comfortable meeting my parents? They're kind of like weird upper class. They're kind of weirdly rigid and strict and everything. Like, do you want me to like teach you some stuff or, do a class or whatever? And she might say, no, aren't you okay with me as I am? I mean, even, I don't know why you have to ask. Just if you care about her and she is important to you, that should be enough. And if your parents have a problem with that, you tell them as much. Hey, I care about this person. I'm not concerned about your weird ideas for manners and stuff like that, okay? Just a number of the ways that you've put some stuff here, it sounds like it's coming across insensitive. And I do genuinely know this person. I think they're coming from a place of good intentions for the most part, or decent intentions, I think. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. You're going about it the wrong way. Accept people for who they are. Don't try and change them, to deal with your family unless that's what they want. If you tell her, hey, they're strict and uptight or whatever, and she's like, ugh, I don't want to embarrass myself, then help her. Otherwise, or offer to help her. But don't sign her up without telling her. That comes across as a major a-hole move, and it makes you kind of an a-hole in this situation. But your heart, I think, is in the right place. Just bad execution. Story 2. Bully me and other students as a teacher? Enjoy losing your job. So, a little bit of backstory as usual. When I was 11 years old, I began middle school in the USA. Not sure how middle schools are in other school districts across the country, but when I was in middle school, you had one group you started with your entire grade and attended the same classes at the same times with the same teachers, except classes like PE or home ec, where you got mixed in with kids from other groups. Anyway, in 6th grade, we had 5 classes that I had to share a group with. Science, reading, social studies, taught by the same teacher as reading, math, and English. For those wondering why reading and English are different, my school had English in 6th grade classified as things like spelling, sentence structure, and vocabulary, while reading was literature. And the teacher I had for English, we'll call her Ms. J. Now, Ms. J was an older teacher and one who was friends with my science teacher and my reading and social studies teacher. Unlike those teachers who liked me and cared about me, Ms. J was, for lack of a better word, a B. How much of a B was she? Well, first of all, for every single class that had her every single year, she'd single out one student, and in my class, that student was me. Upon being the unlucky kid who got singled out by her, she would take that student and put them at one specific desk. This desk was in the corner behind some filing cabinets, was not allowed to turn around except to leave, and wasn't even allowed to talk unless called on. This includes asking for something if they didn't get it, like a paper containing vocabulary words for the next 2 weeks or so. And if this wasn't already bad enough, Ms. J would also encourage other students to bully the student that got singled out, while being rather strict toward anyone else in the class that was being bullied. Oddly enough, the only friend from my group that I hadn't carried over from elementary school, and even those kids were quick to bully me, was probably the most troubling kid in class. He would stick up for me any any chance he got and let me know that I was a likable guy. Unfortunately, that wasn't enough to essentially cause my mental health to start deteriorating. I started suffering from depression and started developing anger issues as a result, and it felt like there was absolutely nothing I could do. Eventually, I couldn't take it anymore and decided to get my parents involved in this because my grades were going to slip and they were going to notice. One day, around the beginning of the fourth quarter of the school year, I left my bag at school in class. Of course, Ms. J didn't notice it since she never bothered to look, and well, a backpack under a desk behind a chair and some filing cabinets would hide things pretty well. When I went home, my parents noticed and asked me where my stuff was. I said, I forgot it at school in one of my classes by my desk. And they were already annoyed because that meant having to waste gas to drive me back to school and get my things, and the classroom might not even be unlocked by then because the janitors have to unlock the classroom doors when they entered and then relock it when they leave if the door is closed. Most teachers, however, didn't lock their doors, and Ms. J was one such teacher. So when I went into class, they watched me go over to the pathetic desk that I sat at. When they asked why I was there, I told them, that's where I sit. Now, I should mention that my parents are pretty old school. They tend to believe that teachers use the chalkboard far more than they do nowadays. So when they asked, well, how are you supposed to see the chalkboard? I told them, I'm not, and explained the entire thing to them, what I had to go through with this one class every single day of the school week, and why this was causing my grades to slip. So when my parents found out, they got rightfully peed off, and as soon as they could, they went to the principal of the school and told him what happened. The principal of our school was a nice guy, and he and the vice principal at the school thought I was a great kid. I'd spoken with them multiple times over the school year, but on topics other than this. But instead of just bringing up what happened and expecting the problem to work itself out, they told the principal to go down to my class and look for themselves where I was sitting. So they did. The principal himself came down to my class and looked around, asking Ms. J where I sat since he couldn't see me. She took the bait and showed me where I was sitting, and the principal took me up to his office to explain what was going on. I told him everything straight from the horse's mouth, just as I had with my parents. They then visited the class a few more times unannounced and took note of how other classes had the same problem. So now, with actual proof, they took action. They couldn't completely fire Ms. J because she had a form of tenure, I think, but they basically forced her into an early retirement that was like firing her, except she could still work as a substitute. But since subs don't make as much as full-time teachers and didn't get benefits, she was screwed in terms of income. It was only after that I found out she had done this to other kids in other classes for years. But I was the only one who brought it up. She did sub in some of the classes I was in for the rest of middle school, but it was rare. While other kids would say, hey, it's your favorite teacher to me, she couldn't do crap to me in case the principal, who after my first year was the old vice principal of the school, popped his head in and noticed her bullying students again, but for a class she was only substituting for. Too long didn't read, the teacher decided to single me out in 6th grade, bullied me until my parents and the principal saw what's happening, and has forced me out of her teaching position. Yeah, this is not like some cruel getting revenge. This is someone who is doing a terrible thing at their job, not even quite getting what they deserve because she's still being allowed to sub. That is abusive behavior, what she was doing. And that's not okay, because a teacher's job isn't just to teach students, it's to help students. It's to foster a good learning environment. Like, what she was doing was bad and awful, and she deserved to lose her job. And I don't say that lightly, because I know teachers have a very, very hard job. It is oftentimes more thankless than it should be. It doesn't pay that great. My heart goes out to teachers. One of my sisters is a teacher. I have friends who are teachers, and I have so much sympathy for what they go through. But when you start not just picking on a student, but singling them out and doing this level of stuff to them, this isn't even like a teacher like doing like friendly little jokey jabs with a student that they think is okay with, and it turns out they're not, and the teacher's like, oh man, I thought we had that kind of rapport. This is just abusive, and it's awful. And the fact that this teacher should have been, I might have even thought that legal action could have been taken. I don't know. That just really upsets me. Story 3. Today I effed up and relieved myself where I most definitely shouldn't have. Anyway, I recently came back home to visit my parents after not seeing them for a year and a half, and everything was going very smoothly and we're getting along fine. Fast forward to yesterday. I went out in the evening to have a fun night out and catch my city's fiery nightlife. So the evening passed and I went bar hopping and nightclub surfing. Got so wasted with booze to the point that I don't remember anything until I woke up the following morning in my bed. I noticed my parents not talking to me or avoiding my presence. I thought, I must have upset them because I went out till the early hours of the morning the night before, so I didn't think much of it. The day went by and everything started to seem normal again, so I was completely nonchalant about the whole thing. This morning, I woke up early like a good son and had breakfast with the whole family. I noticed a winter coat in the laundry basket, which was brand new, and I had brought it to my mom as a gift just days before. I asked her, "Did you wash it already? Was it dirty or something?" And to my absolute shock and disbelief, my mom looked at me, paused, smiled, and said, "Do you not know what you've done?" I said, no. She said, "You came into our bedroom and peed on all the clothes that were hanging behind the door." I immediately froze and what felt like an eternity of silence passed. Got up and got the F out of there immediately and have not returned till now. LOL. Too long didn't read. I got so drunk and wasted that when I reached home, I allegedly relieved myself behind my parents' bedroom door. F my life and rip. This is why, if I've been drinking, and just generally in my life, I try to pee sitting down. Because you know what? You can't accidentally sit down behind someone's door and pee, guys. No, sir. If you just get used to just standing and peeing places, you're going to get drunk and you're going to make mistakes. You're going to look like a fool like this person. But if you just sat down, then at the very worst, you might have peed on like a kitchen chair or something like that. Yeah, you just wipe that up with some paper towels or something and some Lysol or whatever. I don't know. Oh, but seriously, that is a terrible kind of embarrassment. Like, on one hand, it's your family, and so it's like, my family see me as a little kid at my worst, but at the same time, as an adult, doing something like this in front of your family, they're never ever gonna let you live that down. Oh, every get-together, every holiday, someone's gonna like have some jackets or something, or buy you like a toilet for Christmas, or who knows what. This is your life now. Congratulations, you effed up. Story 4. My husband wants me to be a mother to his affair child. I, 29 female, and my husband, 44 male, have been together for 5 years and married for 2. I met him at the church I started going to when I moved cities to start my career. I work for an insurance company and he's a pastor. I know that we have a notable age gap, but he was always kind to me and made me feel special. Anyhow, a week ago he came home and told me we needed to talk. He told me through tears that he had been having an affair with one of our community members, 34 female, and that she had been pregnant with twins. She had gone into labor. She and one of the twins died and the other was in the NICU. He said we need to step up and that he wants me to turn my office into a nursery and set up a cot in the room so we can take turns. I became distressed and told him I wanted some time to think. I was not sure I wanted to do this. He told me that I had made a vow to him in marriage and that God had blessed us with a child, that this is our cross to bear and that God will never give us something we cannot handle. I told him that it seemed God had given her more than she could handle because she had died. I know I should not have, but I was not thinking correctly. He slapped me and told me that I needed to serve my husband, that God had chosen me as his child's mother, and I needed to be his humble servant. I just feel so strange. Yesterday I cried so hard I threw up. This woman died, yet I feel bad for myself. I feel so ugly. I wanted children and was saving for IVF because I'm infertile, but now that I have a chance to have a child, I do not want it. I feel like I'd be robbing its mother's grave. I pray to God, but if I'm being honest, it's never felt like anyone was ever listening. I feel like I've truly seen my husband and he no longer looks kind. He looks his age and very tired. I want to abandon him and the child. I'm only 29. I can start over. I have a remote job so I can take a day off when he goes to the NICU, pass my essentials, and leave. Neither he nor the child deserve this, and although this is my circus, that is not my monkey. holy crap, this guy sounds like a piece of crap. Like, seriously, pulling this, you're my wife, my servant, change your life, switch your office, we're raising this kid, this is awful behavior from him. Like, even if this person wants a child and this is an opportunity to have one without having to pay for in vitro fertilization or pay for adoption or whatever, his attitude right here tells me that I hope this person has left him. I hope she has left him. I mean, because he's lied to her about an affair, and the only reason that he has confessed to it is because this person and one of the kids died, and now he's left with another kid. He is not coming to her being like, I've been cheating on you, I'm so sorry, and it turns out she's pregnant, or whatever. Like, literally, the only reason that he is admitting to his infidelity is because his back against the wall, and he's being an a-hole about it. He's being just this controlling, awful person, and that really speaks about who he is, because the rest of who he's been in front of you has clearly been a lie. He has been lying and cheating. Like, this is not these are not the actions of a person that I would want to be with, and I hope that she has moved and started over because she deserves someone way better. And I don't wish any well on this child. I hope that he can raise the child and, better his life and something good happens for this poor kid. And I feel terrible for the loss of the mother and the other kid, but the person who's writing this does not deserve to suffer because of that. So, jeez. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.